Several racist incidents this week. Colin Christopher, Director of Islamic Society of North America, Office of Interfaith and Communities. China Dickerson is here, Executive Director of DC Young Democrats. Maurice Simpson, Jr., he's President of the Prince George's County Young Democrats. Let me just start by asking you, we'll start right here, your thoughts of what you've seen and heard the past several days, if not the past week.
It's been tough for our country, to put it bluntly. Just 2 days ago in Texas, a Muslim American's convenience store was burned down. He called authorities in his small town of Mathis, Texas. They totally blew him off. A few days later, his store is now in shambles. We're seeing this everywhere, and it's not a new theme, but there's an uptick in direct acts of violence, and a lot of our communities are very, very fearful of what's going on.
Yeah, China?
Yeah, I mean, I saw right before I came out, you all put some stats up that it's up 6% hate crime in America since 2016. You know, I'm Black in America, so I understand, as you mentioned with the Congresswoman in an earlier segment, you know, we go through this at work sometimes, we go through this as we go into public spaces, into schools. But I think we've seen more recently, it has been indicated that under this president, a lot of this stuff is bubbling, that has been bubbling, is now coming up to the top of the pot. And as a leader, he needs to come out and say something that is like, we cannot put up with this. This is not who we are as a country.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, to China's point, you know, what we're seeing is the trickle-down effect of a president and attorney general who has been working to really strip down all of the, you know, racial equality that we built over the years. You know, everything from these direct attacks to our former president, Barack Obama, and, you know, encouraging, you know, these hate speeches in his rallies as a candidate. You know, so we just see that he has been working to turn back the clock on all of the racial progress that we've made in this country.
I'll tell you, one of the things that kind of disturbs me and bothers me and confuses me is that some of the administrations that have been around for a long time that you think might have answers to this, and I'm talking some of the college administrations where these instances have taken place on campus, everything from a noose to, you know, graffiti to actually somebody getting killed. Colleges, they don't know how to respond to this. They don't have a response. What do we do? You know, do we pay special attention to the students, faculty, police? Do we let them handle this? People seem to be at a loss for this after all these years.
But you can't, I don't think, and we were talking, Colin and I were talking about this earlier, it's difficult to prevent hate, to prevent the hate that someone has in their heart, particularly as they learn it as they grow older, right? They learn it in the home. So you are meeting these people as adults or as they're becoming adults, trying to get rid of something that they've learned. And you're asking those folks to give up power. If you had power, would you want to give up your power? So the solution would be to make an effort to prevent the discrimination, the bias, but trying to prevent or stop hate, the feeling that people have will never go away, I don't believe.
And I think the power you're talking about is just a feeling, it's a perception also. A lot of these people don't have any power. This is how they strike out and obtain some power by doing these crazy things.
Jump in here. I mean,
sure.
I think they do, and this is the challenge we're facing. White supremacy really has come into every part of our society. Even the Muslim community, sadly, which is majority people of color, we've sort of, through osmosis, sort of taken on white supremacist feelings implicitly. We don't know that they're happening in the community, but they are happening. And so until I think a lot of white folks, my friends, my family, sort of had these really uncomfortable conversations about the privilege and the power that we have, it's going to be difficult to move the dial in a significant way.
No, I mean, I think, you know, universities do have to step up and make statements and figure out what it is they're going to do. I know it's a touchy subject, particularly because colleges are seen as safe havens. And unlike, you know, asking for criminal background on college applications, which we should be banning, you can't ask, you know, are you a racist on your college application? And then, you know, because a lot of campuses, you know, are open to the public or have public access, you can't control the ingress and egress of who's coming in and performing these acts from outside the community. So it's a difficult balance for administration to strike, but they do need to at least take a strong voice and stand on it.
Consequences and using these as teaching moments. You know, more of that, more teaching. You know, not just put your head in the sand. You know, well, you know, it's a police matter. No, it isn't.
And there's two issues here. There's one is public safety, right, for our communities,
Yeah.
and then the second is the structural issue that's historically been around for hundreds of years.
Yeah. Go ahead.
And I don't think, I've gotten in some trouble for this, but I don't think banning folks like Ann Coulter, for example, is the answer on a college campus, because I do believe if you disagree, for example, when Betsy DeVos spoke at, I think it was Bethune-Cookman, I congratulate those students for standing up and continuing to have a voice as they have been taught to do in college. And I think that's the way protest. But I do think people should be allowed to speak.
Okay, strong finish of the week by Toppers Track.